Today we're having this job. It's 1700 square foot, a driveway. Currently this customer, he has exposed aggregate driveway, but it has some cracks in multiple areas. As you see, there's a few cracks in the middle and in so many areas on this slab, and we're removing the entire driveway. As you see, as they're removing, some areas is 2 inches thick, so it's not thick enough. The driveway has to be 5 to 6 inches thick, and they have to put some gravel underneath it, but currently they don't have the gravel, so we're removing the entire thing. And as we're removing and we're filling up the trailer to dump the old concrete, we're loading some gravel. After we load this gravel, they spread it out evenly everywhere, 1 to 2 inches thick. This is a 3/4 crush gravel, clear crush gravel. Then they gotta put rebar, one in every 18 inches. They gotta have rebar and they gotta put it across each other. Then they tie it up. Once it's ready, they form it. As you see, they form it in a way that it has gaps, almost 2-foot gaps between each slab, because these slabs you're seeing now, what they will do with it, they gotta stamp it, and between these slabs they gotta have exposed aggregate. So basically these 4 slabs, it's not 3, now they have 3, they gotta have an extra slab as well in the end, but currently they're at the 3rd one. They poured it already, and as they're pouring, they're screening it to make sure it's a flat. And the level, it's basically, it has to be the form level. Concrete goes through the gravel and get connected together, and it becomes all of it together as one thick slab. Once they pour it, they start smoothing it right away to make sure it's very smooth. The reason why they smooth it and make sure it's very smooth, to make sure it's a flat, there's no humps, and it's ready to be stamped. As you see, there's gaps between each slab, and there where they gotta put the exposed aggregate concrete. But this is our next stage. Now that they gotta make sure they poured the 4 slabs. One of them is not poured already because they're waiting for one more truck. This is a dark charcoal color. So for each meter of concrete, they added 2 bags of charcoal color to make sure it's dark. That's the client requested this color because it looks good in his house, and it reflects very well with the exposed aggregate, because the exposed is gotta be a little bit lighter and it has some dark rocks. With this color, it's gotta shine out, so it's gotta have good reflection in the eye from outside. You'll see soon how it looks like when they pour it together. Currently they're still working in the edges. You see these guys working in the edges of the slab. As they're working in the edges, one guy, he's working in the middle to make sure it's still flat, and he's still screeding the last little bit of that 3rd slab. Then he keeps smoothing it to make sure it's smooth, because he wants to make sure there's no any hump, no any extra concrete.
Watch the full video and subscribe to my channel, or I demolish your driveway.
That was Eric. He was suggesting for you to subscribe to the channel. I hope you guys like the way he suggested it, because when he demolishes your driveway is the first step to replace it, so it's a positive threat. And now soon enough, they're just waiting for it to be dry enough and hard enough, so he starts stamping. If you see Eric, he took his shirt off and he rolled the sleeve up and he's ready to stamp, and he starts stamping the first slab. He put this powder so it doesn't stick, because these mats, it might stick in the slab if you put it directly in it. So he threw a little bit of powder everywhere to make sure it doesn't stick. There's 2 ways of doing it. You could throw some liquid, there's non-stick liquid, and there is a powder, but we prefer the powder because the result looks much nicer with the powder, and it's easier to take it and it doesn't leave any marks. But this powder has to be washed out afterward, like a day or 2 after we have to wash it out. So it's a little bit extra work, but the overall results is much nicer. And if you care about your customer and you just want high quality, you would use that over the oil. That's what we prefer, at least, and it works for us very well. But some people, they want to be like done and over with it and don't go back. So you could use the oil based one, the liquid oil based one. But this is works very well with us, and we get very good results for the customer, and they're happy with it. And once we wash it, it all goes away. It makes a little bit of mess, but we have to clean it afterward. As you see, the first one is done. It looks very nice. And once we wash it out, it's gonna look even nicer. This is the camera. I'm taking this video from the phone because the camera is recording, and this is extra footage just for the Instagram. You could check out our Instagram. This video is not all taken with the camera, just the camera battery died and we didn't have a chance to go back and charge it. So, but it will give you the gist of every step of the process. How did we make over the driveway to the new driveway that you will soon see, and you will see the difference, how it was and how it is now at the moment. So he's going for each area of the slab to stamp it. Now he's filling. We finished the first phase, and after we finish the first phase and we stamp it, we remove the form and we're pouring in between the slabs exposed aggregate. So what he's screeding now is exposed aggregate. First he's gonna screed and fill up all the gaps with exposed aggregate and make sure it's all leveled up. And once he makes sure there's no gaps and everything is leveled up and all the gaps are filled, he's gonna start smoothing it. Everybody jumps in to start smoothing it, and they make sure the edges are round. So one guy, he's like going over the edges as you see, and other guys, they're smoothing the middle. Once it's all smooth and leveled up and there's no gaps, they're adding like a little bit of concrete where there are gaps. Anywhere there's gaps, they add a little bit of concrete to make sure it's all leveled up. They leave it a little bit to dry, then they start putting some sugar and water. This is brown sugar and water. So the floor is gonna be so sweet, and this brown sugar and water, it helps you to expose it, so it makes the top skin of the concrete able to be washed out, so it gets washed out like a cream. So it makes the concrete very slow to dry out, so everything in the bottom, it gets dry and hard, but the top cream doesn't get to dry. So when you wash it out, it looks exposed, and we order it with exposed mix, so it has more rocks. So once we expose it, it's all rocky. And now he start exposing at the same time washing the powder that he used for at the same time he's washing the powder that he used to stamp the job. So as you're seeing, like he's exposing at the same time with a pressure washer. This is very strong pressure washer, 4200 MPa. So as you see, he's exposing the rocks, and you see like it start looking like how the job is gonna look like. He's exposing the rocks at the same time he's washing the powder at one shot, because now it's all hard, all the floor hard. Usually the concrete after 5-6 hours is hard and you're able to walk in it easily, especially when you add any calcium in it or gold. Sometimes we add calcium, sometimes we add silver, sometimes we add gold. It depends about the company we're dealing with, and it depends what the client wants. And when it's color concrete, it dries even faster, so you want to be cautious when you're dealing with color concrete. This is just for the pros to do this kind of jobs. As you see, this is the overall result, and this is the outcome of the job after we wash it all out. This is how it looks like after. 4 blocks of stamped concrete, and in the middle 2-footer or 2 foot of exposed aggregate. The house looks so fancy, and the driveway looks so long, because it gives you the length of the house. When you have different kind of finishes, it makes the house looks fancier and makes the driveway look much longer, which is, you have a very big driveway. You could like literally fit 4 trucks in this driveway, but it didn't look this big before because it all looked the same look. but now it look the size it should have been looking before. All the overall look of his house changed completely from normal house to a very fancy front of the house. And this is the first impression when people drive by. They literally see this the first thing. And while we're working, we had a lot of people stopping by. Even in their cars, they break down and they slow down and they start looking, and we get a lot of compliment when we get to this stage. Like, I record 1 or 2 minutes, then somebody want to talk to me how much how much this job cost, how many days. They start asking inquiries. This is the best advertisement you could do for your business. To do a very good job, usually get all the neighbors calling for you to do their jobs. We had so many customers, once we do one job, especially when it's driveway or something in the front of the house, all his neighbors calls, because they ask him as they're seeing him like going out or walking his dog or anything. They ask him, who did your job? And he refer to us. That's usually the case. And this is the entire job. And see you guys in the next video. We'll try to upload you and keep you updated in the last jobs. We have a few jobs we did and we recorded it, but we didn't have a chance to upload it for you guys. See you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it.